Hey everyone, Tony here. If you just started collecting Pokemon cards in the last couple of years, you might be confused about some of the differences between the older vintage cards. Knowing the differences between sets and printings is important because these two things determine the value of a card. Today, I want to talk to you about some of the differences between older vintage style and modern lookalikes using our big, fluffy Fire Dog Arcanine. So let's zoom in and look at some cards. Okay, so in front of me here, I have 7 copies of what looks like the same Arcanine card, but believe it or not, these 7 cards come from 4 different sets. So we have 3 cards from base set, 1 from base set 2, 1 from Legendary Collection, and 2 from XY Evolutions. So how do we tell them apart? Let's start with the 3 base set cards. For base set cards, there are 3 main visual cues to look for to determine the printing. So the first is the weight of the HP text, the second is the presence or absence of a shadow around the illustration box, and the last is the copyright date found in the bottom center of the card. Regular base set Arcanine here has thicker HP text, a shadow around the illustration box, and a copyright date that ends in 1998. Shadowless and first edition Arcanine have thin HP texts, no shadow around the illustration box, and have copyright dates that end in 1999, as you can see there. The first edition print also has the iconic first edition stamp, but always look carefully at these because I've seen them faked before, so look for things like smudging here or the incorrect placement of the stamp itself. So now moving on, we'll move on to the base set 2 printing. This one is quicker to distinguish because of the 2 here at the bottom right of the illustration box for the card, and that 2 signifies the set. So all cards except base set have set symbols on the card somewhere. Also look at the bottom right of this card. So 33 out of 130 notes the card's position in the set list, which is different from the base set number. Moving on to the Legendary Collection. So again, look bottom right of the illustration box here. We've got a metal symbol, which is the symbol for Legendary Collection. And also look at the set number down here. So again, a different number from the previous base set 2 or base set cards. And we have a different copyright date here at the bottom center. The last 2 cards are more modern. They're from the XY Evolutions set. These 2 cards are a lot different when you start reading the cards themselves. So they have an ability instead of that first attack, and the second attack has been updated. Slightly different layout as well. Again, here is a set symbol. It's moved to the bottom right of the card now, but still a different set symbol and a different number in the set list. This card is just the reverse holofoil of this card. For cards like this, usually the reverse holofoil is worth a little bit more than the regular print, but not much for those specific cards. So that's it. Remember the key takeaways. For base set cards, check the HP font, the presence of a shadow around the illustration box, and the copyright date. For all other cards, check the set symbol, card number, and copyright date. Hopefully this helps you as you go shopping for vintage cards.